Wait,
But we don't
guess
have
what?
to have it figured out.
Guess what he said?
That's what
No,
they
not
say.
again.
But sometimes it's like
I
there's
know.
so much free will.
But how
It's okay,
does a
take it
20-year-old
easy.
I know.
Travel
Life
so
is
much,
hard.
But then we have
It's
broke,
so
we don't
hard.
have
We have to
money.
figure so many things out. Money, marriage,
No, I don't understand that.
relationships.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's just so confusing.
I love you.
I mean, like, if you said she's here right now,
Or maybe it's just conversations over coffee. I hate confronting
hot
people.
chocolates. I would love a hot chocolate right now.
Do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome to the 20s in Transition podcast, everyone. We are your hosts, Anusha Khannan and
Likita Gopinath, and this is our fourth episode already. And we're going to be talking about manifestation, everything about it, and how Anusha and I stumbled on it, and just our thoughts on it.
yeah, we've been friends for a long time and we've never actually talked about how we came across this manifestation stuff and how we've used it before. We've never had this conversation, so this is the first time we're talking about it. And we both know that we know certain things and it might be the same things or it might be different. We might see some drama here today. We don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, we've never really talked about it, like she said, discussed manifestation. And I think it's also very misunderstood, right? So the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and when we did the poll on one of the previous episodes, we had asked what our listeners would like for us to talk about, and we had given strength training and manifestation. And I think the majority of the votes went for manifestation. And that friend of mine, he said, I want to hear you guys talk about manifestation. Guys should talk about voodoo dolls so that it goes viral. And I was like, wait, what? So you think manifestation is black magic and voodoo dolls? Like, no.
Wow.
People have a completely, some people have a completely different understanding of what manifestation is. And we're here to probably discuss what we think it is, and it's definitely not black magic.
No. We won't talk about black magic here. I'm just taking a moment to think about that.
Yeah, we're not one of those, I think, crystal astrology, black magic witches guys. But
I'm not a.
we're
I'm not
good.
a
I think I believe in manifestation because it's science backed. Not really a lot of scientific proof, but even scientists can't explain how it happens, right? It's basically metaphysics. So we're here to talk about it. Sorry for the noise at the back.
Let's talk about what we think manifestation is. What did you think about manifestation when you first got started? And how did you get
So
started?
actually, yeah, so basically, I did not randomly, just look up manifestation. I barely had any idea about it, and I was completely in oblivion, right? So I started reading. I think I spoke on the one of these episodes. I started reading a lot on personal development and self-help. So one of those books were a few actually, Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and the other one was Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. I think I'm not very sure about the name, but a couple of books I read, and most of it emphasized on the neuroplasticity of the brain, right, and the power, obviously, the power of our subconscious minds, and that had me thinking that wait, is life that easy? Like you change your thoughts and you can change your life, and we've all been struggling. So when I read that book, Power of Your Subconscious Mind, I think everybody should read it. It's a very famous book. I think everybody would have heard about it. So it emphasized the importance of your subconscious mind. It's basically the secret of life, right? They also call it a 3D printer. So whatever you feed in your subconscious mind is what you see in the 3D reality. So I also even spoke about this in a previous episode, which I shouldn't have. I should have just saved it for this episode. But I would have talked about how in certain times of day, your subconscious mind is more receptive. You can reach to your subconscious mind easily and plant some ideas in it. So once you do, consistently, without any resistance, you would see the changes in your reality. So let's say you're looking for a job, you want to change your job, or you want to just up level in life. You have to start believing that you are capable and you're worthy of that job that you want. And some people like me, we are very, very ambitious, right? So let's say I'm earning 10 LPA and I want to aim for 25 LPA, which is very unrealistic, right? But we are delusional like that. And I have that confidence that I would get a job, that pays me that much money. So the reason why I call it resistance is normally we're made to believe that you're not worthy of 25. Wait, you're just 25 years old and you want a 25 LPA paying job, which is impossible. But that's the point, right? The minute we start working against those limiting beliefs or that resistance that you have in your mind, and completely with conviction believe that you deserve that job, the world around you will automatically arrange itself for you to get you there, which sounds very, very unbelievable, but it is true because there are so many anecdotes in that book, the book Power of Your Subconscious Mind, in which there's proof that even chronic illnesses will be healed once you change your thoughts about it. So it's very difficult for us to believe because we're brought up with so much conditioning where we're said that, hey, don't speak up. Hey, just act your age, or just you don't dream big. Just think whatever is possible for you right now. We're all brought up like that. If I go tell my parents that I wanna earn 1 crore or something, they'll be like, "What? No, you cannot do that." But that's obviously a limiting belief, right? So once we work against it and be consistent with positive thoughts saying that, listen, I deserve this, I believe in my worth, you will see it in your world. So basically, that is what manifestation is, according to me. And that's how I stumbled upon it, by reading self-help books. I want to know, Anusha, how you came about manifestation.
Yeah, so I actually don't remember how I got into manifestation. I just know that in 2019, 2020, that I started like listening to podcasts, and they had like different like aspects that they were covering. They were like talking about different stuff about like how you can visualize and all that. And I started seeing quotes everywhere. There's this page called The Good Quote, and I really liked their page. And I started like looking at positive quotes and all of that. And I said, you know what? It's time I stop being negative. It's time I tell myself that I'm not enough or I cannot do this or that. And also, like, because I'm a dancer, I've always been trained to like go on stage and be positive and not think about what others are thinking. The good thing about dancing is when you go on stage, you don't see anyone in the audience. You don't really know what they're thinking, but your mind is completely like, what are they thinking? What is their face reaction? Do they like me dancing? Do they not like me dancing? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? But the one thing is nobody can tell you that in that instant. It's all in your control, whether you dance right, whether you dance wrong. Nobody's going to know. And that to me was like, Delulu Sisolulu. If I think I'm right, everybody's going to think I'm right. Because that's what my mom used to tell me when I go on stage, when I tell her, what if I miss this step? What if I miss that step? She'll be like, they won't know. They're not dancers. They won't know. I'm like, that's true. Nobody knows me better than I do. So I don't know if this makes sense, but that's how I thought about it. And that's how I think I learned about manifestation a little bit. And another thing is, even today morning when I was getting ready for the recording, I started telling myself, oh, you don't look good. How can you go like this on video? And then I caught myself like, don't say negative things about yourself to yourself. How funny is it that we don't want to be someone, but we constantly identify ourselves as that someone? We don't want to look fat, but then we're like, oh, I'm fat. I'm fat. I look fat. It's even in the book Atomic Habits, they talk about how what you say who you are is who you become. So if I identify myself as someone, I haven't danced in like 10 years, but I still call myself a dancer because I believe that I am. I know that I can dance any moment, any instant someone asks me to, I can do that. And to me, manifestation just means me just creating my life. I am the creator. I am the CEO of my life. I will tell what my life has to be. No one else can tell me what my life has to be. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the gist of manifestation, actually. You are the creator of your reality. So, what you think is true will be true. What you believe is what you see in your world, right? So, I think also want to talk about Neville Goddard. Uh, not many people would know about him. He's an American author, by the way. He was. So he preached manifestation a lot, and he's written a lot of books, and I've read a couple of them. And what he says is, so there's a lot of different terms, different laws. So there's law of attraction, there's law of assumption. There are multiple laws, and I think all of it boils down to one thing, like we said, like you are the creator of your reality, right? So Neville Goddard preaches law of assumption. So what law of assumption states is that what you assume to be true will be true. So you can assume anything with conviction and with absolutely no resistance, and you have to persist in that assumption. And no matter what, it has to be true. So those are the conditions, right? You need to be persistent. You need to practice that thought over and over and over again until it impresses in your subconscious mind. And the resistance that comes up, you have to deal with it. You cannot encourage negative thoughts with regards to what you want to manifest. And yeah, so it's that simple. That's why it's called law of assumption. So no matter what it is, so it says even a fact, if false, if you persist, it will become true. So yeah, I think that was, I resonated with that a lot. And I still read a lot of his books, and it gives me a lot of hope, and it makes me feel good. Like the whole point of this is to accept yourself and to think positive thoughts, right? We're so used to thinking negative thoughts, and we're like always imagining the worst case scenario. So in this, it's about only imagining the best case scenario. Never give space to anything negative. So I think a lot of my friends who are listening to this episode would, I think they'll be reminded of the time when I always tell them, don't say anything negative. So there's one friend of mine who keeps saying that, I don't know if I'll get a job. So she's studying in the US, and she always says, I don't think I'll get a job. I mean, who's going to give me a job after my master's? I don't think so. I don't have a good feeling about it. I'm like, don't say that. Say what you want to see in your life. If you don't want a job, if you want a job, why would you say, I will not get a job? Because you're putting that out into the universe, and that's what the universe is going to give back to you. No job. So say, I am going to get a job. I don't know how, but I will. So the whole point is to always encourage positive thoughts and positive words and affirmations, because all of these have different frequencies, right? So, you know, gratitude, love, and joy have a higher frequency than fear, shame, and guilt. All of those negative emotions and feelings that we have a lower frequency. So, the more you dwell in gratitude and love and joy, the more you're going to attract more of it, because it's at that frequency, obviously. Because if we feel happy, we feel like so many good things happen to us if we consistently feel happy. I mean, it's normal for us to feel low too, but I think we should draw a line and bring ourselves back to feeling gratitude, because there's so much to be grateful for at any point in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like think about how you feel physically when you're having positive thoughts and positive experiences versus when you have negative thoughts and negative experiences. Like you can feel in your body, like your blood boiling, and it just feels different when you have a positive experience versus when you have a negative experience, because you can also trick yourself into believing that this is a positive experience. Because every time I have a negative experience, let's say that a friend stopped talking to me or I didn't get what I wanted, I think, huh, so this is not meant for me. I don't have to feel bad about it. This is just not meant for me. I'm going to receive something bigger than that. And that's why, say, God or universe, whatever you want to call it, is stopping me from having what I want. And it's very, very difficult to get into that mindset when you're going through something. But the more you train yourself in smaller situations, the bigger the impact it has when you actually have something really big going on. And I've tricked myself into believing that so many times. So let me tell you a little story, right? When I completed my undergrad, I had a lot of arrears. Like I am not someone who cared a lot about like getting grades. I've told this before. I didn't care about being in engineering college, but I also didn't care that I was not like other people around me. I didn't care a lot about, oh, these people are toppers. I'm not. Like I I didn't give two shits about not being a topper. I couldn't care less. I wanted to be a topper. It's something that I like. It's not about just being a topper in class. That was not my goal. And then I started telling myself, I didn't attend campus placements because I told myself that I don't need it. I don't need that experience. But the problem was around me, people around me started telling me, you're not confident. That's why you don't want to attend it. You're not this person. Like, you can do this, but don't feel like you're not confident. Like, you can do this, just try, give it a try. But the conflicting terms that they used to me was like, yeah, we understand why you don't feel confident, but you can give it a shot. You might not get it, but you can still give it a shot. I didn't like that conflicting negative comments that I was receiving because I never thought that I wouldn't get a job. I never thought that I wouldn't ace an interview. I have been probably over self confident ever since I was a kid. I was like, I can do this, I know, but I just don't want to do it. But then I found myself having a negative thought when I started applying for my master's degree. Like, I applied to 5 universities. I told myself, if I get into one, I've made it in life. If I get into just one, I've made it in life. And I got into all five at the same time. To me, that was, I had 5 universities in mind. I got into 5 universities. How did I not believe in myself? How did I think that I'll only get into one? And then I started telling myself, don't think negatively. Things surprise you sometimes. But I think it's that inner confidence that I had in me, even though I thought to myself, like, I wouldn't get in. I knew internally, like, who's not going to want me? Like, come on, it's me. Who's not going to want me? I think it's that confidence as well. Like, you should believe in yourself. Think that there is nothing in this world that you cannot do, nothing in this world that you cannot be. That will change your life for the better. And my neighbor's loud.
Don't worry, I didn't hear anything.
You
But
didn't?
no, but I second that, right? So the core of this entire manifestation shebang is to think that you're worth what you want, because it's so easy to believe that, oh my God, it's so out of reach. Can you hear the fireworks? You can?
Wait, is it Diwali still there? Like, how?
It's Kartigai Deepam, by the way.
Oh, Festival of. Wait, should I say it's Festival of Lights? I don't want to say it wrong.
It sort of is, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Yo, if I'm wrong, then people come for me. I don't know.
We'll just assume you're right.
Yeah, anyway. So I'll stop if the fireworks go on. So I was saying, so they don't want me to talk or what?
Love it. How are you guys liking this?
Yeah. So that's the core of the entire manifestation, journey, right? So you need to believe you're worth that, or you need to believe that you will get it no matter what. So all of it comes with accepting yourself, loving yourself. Only if you really appreciate and love yourself will you think that you deserve what you want, right? I cannot have a very bad relationship with myself and think that, okay, I'll get it. No, but you need to be in peace with yourself and accept yourself, so that you see your worth, and then it's much more easier for you to believe that, okay, I will get this job, okay, I will start a business, I am worth this, I can do this no matter what. So that's the core of manifestation. If you guys think it's some kind of, magic or something,
It's
no, it's
not.
not. It's basically having a better relationship with yourself and think that, you deserve all the good things in life. So I think all human beings, no matter what, there's no bad person, good person. And it took me some time to learn that, right? Honestly, it took me a long time to know that there is no bad person. So everybody deserves the best in the world. There's not one person that doesn't deserve
I'm loving this. I'm loving
good
this.
things. So they're celebrating what I'm saying, no? So I'm saying that everybody deserves good things in life, the best things in life. You, me, everybody on the road, everyone. There's not one person that doesn't deserve good things. So I think all of us should believe that we are worthy of good things, and that will happen to us.
I also think like the best thing for each person is very tailored. Like, it's not the same. What is best for me might not be best for you. And that's why you don't get certain things, because there is something else in the cards for you. And I don't need tarot cards. I mean, like, the life cards. And you just have to wait and see what God or universe or energy is going to give you, because sometimes we're just like so persistent. I want this and I don't want anything else, because we don't see what's behind that. We want like a certain door to open only to find out it has no path. It's just like you're going to fall off the sky. But certain doors have like palace. So I always think about this. Imagine you want to get out of like a flying flight. You're like, I want to open the door. I want to get down because I want to experience sky. You'll fall down and crash and die. That's why they don't let you do that. Think about it that way. Whenever you're trying to like force something into happening, that clearly, like, I have experienced this once in my life. I've wanted something so badly. Every single time I try to have that, it would like not happen. It would just not happen. I still haven't realized what the end game is for that. But every time I tried it, it still just wouldn't happen. And then I started realizing maybe this is not meant for me. But also, sometimes being obsessed with something and not being obsessed with something, it's like a good balance between detaching yourself and being obsessed with something. It's a very tricky balance, but you have to do it. I think we'll get more into that as we go into the episode. Like, you want to talk about that now?
With these fireworks, do you want me to?
I mean, I could go ahead. I mean, it's fine. Like, I think when you start making a vision board, like when we're almost near New Year's and New
Oh
Year,
yeah,
and
those are the methods.
I think Likita and I the first thing that connected us was vision boards. That's the first thing we went out shopping for. That's our first outing as well, like as friends. And I think with vision boards, it's just like you tricking your mind into saying, this is how the next year of my life is going to be. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've seen myself tick my list at the end of the year. I'm like, I achieved all of these things. It's like how? And it's like setting an intention every single time you start your day. It's like, I know what I said on New Year's and I'm gonna do that. It's like subconsciously you do that. You're not like very consciously thinking about what was on my wish list. Did I want to do that? What was on my vision board? Do I want to do that? It's not like that. You just set an intention for the entire year and it just happens. You find yourself working on that. I'm not talking about New Year's resolution. That is different. That is just you waking up one day and thinking, it's like a 3 a.m. cleaning your room stuff. You get a spark of motivation out of nowhere, and then you clean your room, and then you know it's going to be dirty the next week. It's not about New Year's resolution. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I do believe in making vision boards because you're taking the time and effort to create something. And it's even if you don't look at your vision board, even if you throw it in the trash, you're still going to remember making the vision board. You're still going to remember the images because for some reason, images just work better with our brains and we resonate more to that and we keep remembering them. What do you think about that? I know we both like making vision boards.
Oh, yes. I love visualization, and it's a very easy thing for me to do. So that's one of the methods, right? So, I mean, it's not method, but it's uh, one of the principles. I don't know what to call it. So I think there are four ways where you can trick your mind into believing what you want in life, right? So the first one was visualization, where you close your eyes and you try to visualize what you want to be, and which is what I said one of my goals were. Uh, so that's one. And the second one is repeating affirmations, which is very, very popular nowadays. I see it everywhere. And I'm like so happy. Oh, wow. So everybody knows what this is. So repeating affirmations is also a way to reach, to try to make yourself believe that whatever affirmation you're saying. So that's the second one. And the third one is SATs. So it's very, very similar to the goal that I said. So SATs is state akin to sleep. So I would have said this in the goals episode where, there are few times in a day where your logical mind is shut, and that's when you just wake up and when you drift into sleep. And maybe in certain parts of the day where you're doing a repetitive task, you're driving or you're like doing your daily chores like washing vessels or like just folding clothes, you don't really need your logical mind to be active at that point because you know what you're doing, right? So at that point also, it's very easy to reach your subconscious mind wherein your logical mind is not very active because you already know what you're doing, right? You don't need your logical mind to drive. You do that every day. So yeah, those points in a day,
I mean, that's how accidents
that's
happen. That's how accidents happen. Use your logical mind, guys.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. I mean, I think it's like it's being aware and being logical are very two different things.
Yeah, true. So, yeah, those are the points in a day where you can try, telling yourself what you want. And the fourth one is scripting. So, where you write, right? You write your goals. So, I usually do that, right? I like to write a lot because I feel like it channels all of my energy into because your hand is where your mind is when you're writing. So I think it's very, very effective and helpful. I think when we were in school, also our teachers would say, just write this 100 times or write this down so that it sticks in your brain. That's why we take notes also because we have our mind there and all your focus is in there. So I like to write my goals down, before the beginning of every year. And I'm telling you, at least, let's say I write 10 things, at least like six or seven have come true for me this year. And it's so wild because I do not, one of the major things is to not have a very bad attachment to what you want. Like you shouldn't be so hung over it, like, oh my god, I need this, I really need this by this time, by this week, or by this month. So you shouldn't, it's very difficult to not do that. But at the same time, you should have that faith that, oh my god, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. I know it's going to come true. So that's what I did for these 10 goals. I think I had more, but I'm just roughly saying 10. So out of that, at least 70 to 80% have already come true. And I am just like, oh my God, I just need to do this every single year or even every month for it all to come true. So yeah, those are the four methods, I think, basically out of my research and what I have, read are some of the methods that you can use to, manifest what you want.
I think with the scripting part, you know how like when we grew up, we had, I don't know if you guys have read the story. I don't know what it's called. It's like the witch that's turning kids into stone. I don't know what it's called, the story. My mom used to read this to me all the time when I was a kid. I loved that story. But when you think about witches, they say that cast a spell. Why is it cast a spell? It's because you have to put things into words. What you say is what's going to become. So why don't you cast a spell on yourself and tell yourself like, I am the next CEO of Microsoft. I'm not saying you have to. You can. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that, but your words should also be followed by actions. It's not just like I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm lean, I'm very thin, and then you just sit at home eating a potato chips packet. That's not going to work. I think setting an intention is to tell your brain, like, this is what we're focusing on this next year, and actually following that with action, because there is no such thing as just you sitting in your house, in your living room, staring at the wall and saying, I am going to be successful. I'm going to be a millionaire next year. And then just not moving your ass. That's not going to work. Because I think a lot of people don't believe in affirmations and manifestation because they think, oh, if you just say things, they're going to happen. No way. Of course, they're not going to happen if you just say things. You have to work for it. And I think understanding that, understanding the balance, understanding detachment, and also knowing to be a little bit obsessed with it, that balance is something you understand once you start implementing it. You will know when things are not working out and you know that I'm thinking too much about this. I've had a lot of my friends tell me, you think too much. Don't obsess over it, because I do that. When I plan things, I'm like, I said 6 a.m. Why didn't this happen at 6 a.m.? Today morning when I woke up and I know we said 6 a.m. and I got up at 6 a.m. and I was like, oh my God, I said 6 a.m. I'm letting her down. I'm letting her down. I couldn't do this. Why am I doing this? Get out, get ready, fast, fast, fast. And I was like, she's my friend. I've texted her. I'm thinking she'll understand. If not, we'll work it out. Like, calm down. Even the littlest of things, if you're obsessed with it, if you're overthinking it, even if the situation is not at all what you think it's going to be, it ends up being that way. Yeah. So it's about energy. It's like, how are you presenting yourself? How are you appearing? I also learned like last week about how we think about ourselves is how we appear. If we think, let's say that you're walking into a room full of people and you're thinking, oh my God, they're all so beautiful, they're all so elegant, and I'm not dressed as much, dressed like them. And you walk into a room, your body immediately shrinks. You become like this. This is how you walk into the room. But when you walk into a room, not looking at others, not thinking what they are thinking about you, and you walk like this, and that shift in your energy, your body language, shifts how they look at you, shifts how they talk to you. It's about how is your energy. Would you want to be with someone with your energy? That's what you have to think about. Every time you say something negative to yourself, would you want to be around someone that's always speaking negatively about themselves? Who would want to be around such a person? I wouldn't. If you constantly talk about negative stuff in your life, I would say, what an ungrateful little piece of shit. Because how can you be so ungrateful when you have so many things to be grateful for? And when I say this, I'm not saying when someone's really in a low point in their life, I'm not going to go and tell them, you're sad, just be grateful. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying people that refuse to look at good things in their life, that refuse to acknowledge the good things in their life, they need to practice more gratitude. They need to say more affirmations. They need to understand who they are and who they can be.
I agree, and I think I've also cut off some people who complain a lot. Right, that energy is just it's a kind of leeching energy. Like it just sucks the hell out of you, and I dislike like everyone else. I think everybody dislikes being around people like that, right? People who complain all the time, who are sad all the time. And to be very honest, I used to be that person, right? I used to be that sad girl, always complaining about life. And I'm so glad I'm not that person anymore. And it does take a lot for you to change because you're so used to being sad. I loved listening to sad music. I used to be that sad girl, right? And it took a lot for me to change. And now I despise listening to sad music. Like I would listen to Someone Like You by Adele on repeat. I would cry and listen, and I just put myself in this rock bottom place, which was very unnecessary, right? And now when I think about it, I'm like, Likita, what the hell were you thinking? You had so much time and all you did was this. So I'm so glad I'm out of it. And it did take a lot for me to start thinking positive things, right? Like you said, if you go and tell a person who's crying and like sad, like, hey, cheer up, there's nothing to worry about. Just think positive things. Just think I'm so happy. Just keep saying it. It's an affirmation. That's stupid, right? So I think one of the key things is to feel what you're feeling. So think first about if you really need to feel sad. For me, it was just unnecessary sadness. I mean, you didn't even have to feel sad. Why? There was no reason only. Just keep thinking about past things and become sad for what reason? So first, it's just to validate if what you're feeling is right or wrong. Like, do you really, did something really happen for you to feel sad? If yes, then sit in that feeling and see what comes up, right? So most of it is to just, that's what I said, self acceptance is just letting you feel what is coming up. So if you want to feel sad, just feel sad. See where it comes up in your body. Like there's some aches in your body, right? Sometimes your chest is heavy, your stomach is heavy, things like that. So see what happens, feel it, and then deal with it and let it go. Like that's why they say when you feel like crying, just finish crying. The more, there's no reason to, hold back your tears. It just does not work. It does more bad than good. So just feel that feeling, let it go, and try switching to more, what I do is I try to look at three things to be grateful for around me. Like, I'm so grateful for my bed. Like, it's so comfortable. It makes me sleep. So I'm very grateful for, the internet. Things like that, very small, small things that can change up, a little bit. I'm not saying like from one extreme to another extreme, right? But yeah, it's very difficult. But I think once you actively start working on it, practicing it, it really is like second nature now for me. So when I catch myself, feeling low or something, I try to see why exactly I'm feeling low because there can be multiple reasons. And then once I figure out the reason why, I let myself feel that feeling, and then I try to change into a little bit of positive thoughts, positive affirmations. Things like I am safe, I'm okay, it's okay to feel like this, things like that, and then slowly switch up. So that's my way of dealing with this. And I'm saying this exactly why, Anusha, you said that you can't go tell a sad person, say, hey, cheer up, nothing's wrong with life. You have so many things to be grateful for. It's stupid to say that. But at the same time, feel it, let it go, deal with it, and then switch your thoughts. It's much more easier if you break it down like that.
I'm starting to think we're not that different. I really thought we'd have some drama this episode. I'm so disappointed of just to like realize how similar we are. If you're on my Instagram, you would have seen that I post like my gratitude journal every single morning. I'm like so obsessed with a healthy amount, not like a bad amount, like a healthy, good amount of obsession with gratitude journaling because I have found myself feeling really low when I don't journal. And I think it's one of the things you can do when it comes to practicing gratitude is if you cannot write things down because you're scared someone's going to read it, say it out loud, write it in a piece of paper and flush it. Like nobody cares. It's just about writing things down. I think it's more helpful if you have a record of things because I have found myself going back into like my old gratitude journals and I'm like, wow, I wrote so many things. I remember writing in my gratitude journal saying, I'm so grateful I got into Suffolk University. Like before I applied it, I applied to the university and I wrote, I'm so grateful I got into Suffolk University and I got into Suffolk University. I'm not saying it's because of that, but the energy has 100% worked. I've written so many things like that in my life and I've gone back and I've looked at it. But the only thing is, I wrote it in present tense. I was not like, I am going to get into Suffolk University. It was not like that for me. I was like, I am so grateful I got into it. I didn't even get into it. I applied like the day before. But the belief that you have in yourself, let's say that it does come crashing down. Let's talk about like realities. It's not like all the time you say something is going to happen because, like I said, some doors are just not meant for you because there's something better. So when things don't work out for you, you can ask us questions like, you told me to manifest this. I told myself I'm going to be the Microsoft CEO, but I'm not because there's a time. And I think with manifestation, it doesn't always happen instantly. Just for it to manifest, or it can be the next day or the next minute. Give everything time. Like how when you have like a disagreement with a friend or something, they tell you, give me space, give me time. If you don't give them space, if you don't give them time, you're going to push them, it's going to go away from you. It's the same with manifestation. If you're like, I want this to happen, I want this to happen, I want this to happen, it won't happen. It's like, stop obsessing over me. Even in relationships, like guys and girls, when you start obsessing over them, they get a little creeped out. They're like, can you like please calm down? Don't be so clingy. It's that feeling nobody wants to experience. Nobody wants to know that something is so wanted, something is so like everything revolves around me. I don't want that feeling. And I think every single thing has an energy in this world, and that's how it feels when you obsess too much over it. What I did when I moved to Boston was I wanted this one apartment. I was like, this is the only apartment I'm going to look at. I'm not going to, I don't want to live anywhere else. This is the only apartment I want to live at. And I thought about it. I looked at the roads around it. I looked at how it's gonna feel. I put myself in a situation where I already thought that I was living in Boston in that apartment. I was like, I'm gonna wake up like this, go for a walk. There's Charles River there. I'm gonna do this. And I thought about it like twice or thrice. And every time someone would ask me, have you figured out your housing situation in Boston? I'd just be like, oh yeah, I have an apartment. I hadn't even like had a chance to talk to someone there, but I wasn't obsessing over it. Whenever someone asked me, I would just tell them that, oh yeah, I found an apartment. You know, it's a studio. I'm gonna live there. It
This
has
is
star.
next level delusion, and I love
Yeah,
it.
I was like, there's a Starbucks downstairs. Everyone in Boston who knows me in Boston is like, that's fucking where you lived. Yes, I ended up living there. I ended up having that apartment. I got it for 6 months lease, and I was like, I don't want to leave this place. And then I extended it for another 6 months, and I lived there for a year. I lived the dream life for a year, and I swear everything the past year I've done is just me being completely delulu. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get the CGPA. Like I've never been that person who cared about CGPA, but I was like, you know what? For once, I want to experience it. Like, what does it feel like to be a top student? Like, I want to experience that. I ended up being a top student. I was like, I'm gonna. Another thing is, you change your identity, you change who you are. That concept, it sort of touches into manifestation. I've talked about this before. I'm not someone that used to read a lot of books. I was like a tinkle person. Like I'm like, Supandi, cool. But I seriously like manifested myself into thinking. I started telling people, if you go to my Instagram, like my personal one, I have a lot of books on my Instagram. People always think, anyone that newly follows me would think, oh, she reads books. She's like a book reading girl. I've had my brother tell me that too. He'll always be like, you seem aesthetic, you want to take a book and read it. You're pretending to be this person who reads book because he knows I don't. But I really manifested my identity to becoming someone that reads books. And now I'm like obsessed with it. Every time I go to a library, I'm like, wow, books. And I'm like the Beauty and the Beast princess. I don't know what her name is. I became that person. I'm like, I love books. I want a library. I want to build a library in my house. And I could not believe that I shifted my entire identity to being into some to become someone that I'm not. How crazy is that? You can, my neighbor, you can be anyone that you want to be. Just saying.
Agree. So, Neville, Neville has always said that you can choose to change your identity any second. So he calls it states, right? So what I am right now was one state, or what mindset I am with right now is one state, and another one is another state. So it's called a state. And he says you can choose to change your state at any second. So you wanna see yourself as a more confident person, or you want to ace that presentation, you just shift into that state where you say that I have aced this presentation already. I am super confident. You start believing that and you become that first, and then you get it. So I always say I dress for the job that I want. It's a quote, right? You're supposed to dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. So I believe in that so much, and it is true, right? That's the principle of the whole point of stepping into the reality that you want. So you first have to be what you want to be. At least, I'm not saying if you want to be a millionaire, you have to spend like a millionaire. You use your logical mind in this one. But if you're a millionaire, if you want to be a millionaire, what mindset will you have about money, or what worries will you have about money? The mindset that you have about money would be like, okay, money comes to me easily. I don't have to struggle for money because I am a millionaire. Things like that. You don't have to spend, for you to become a millionaire. So that's the thing that I'm saying. You need to be it first for it to reflect in your reality.
You know how you talked about dressing up for the job you want? I also think about when you dress up, people respond differently. Like, I swear. If you go to an office where people are dressed up normally, like a normal day life, and you go in a coat suit, like in a suit and like a blazer or whatever, they look at you and they think, wow, this woman is confident. She wants to be in charge someday, and I know she's going to be. I swear I've received a lot of, like, one day I didn't dress up like how I usually do, and they were like, you started dressing down, like, why? We like the way you dressed. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know this was having such a huge effect. And I was like, damn, okay, I'm gonna start dressing like how I usually do, and we're gonna get on track. Another thing is, you talked about how millionaires spends, how what is their mindset? I would say, instead of spending a couple of rupees or dollars on Starbucks coffee, go to like a hotel or restaurant where millionaires are gonna have their coffee or meetings. It's fine if it costs you a little bit more, have coffee there, and look at how people are talking. Look at how the environment is. Go do your stuff there. Go watch Instagram there. Nobody cares. Just do something. Do some work there. And I swear the energy that you get there, the shift that it gives you is different. It is so different. So it is also important to surround yourself with energies that resonates with who you want to be. Because I have made a very conscious choice to cut off friends who don't resonate the person that I want to be. I swear. It's got nothing. And when I say, stop talking to people, when we say cut off people, it's not in a bad way. We just mean like, hey, you don't resonate with the person that I want to be. Not
And
that
it
the
just
person,
happens.
yeah. And it's not like we're not telling you that I'm a better person than you. We're not saying that I'm going to become a better person than who you are right now. You're also going to be the best version of yourself. I just don't resonate with your best version. My best version and your best version are not complementing each other. So I'm going to have to cut off friendship here. And it doesn't have to be a dramatic one, it doesn't have to be a bad one. I'm still going to support you in whatever you do. I'm going to clap hands. I'm going to support you. I'm going to do whatever I can. Intensity of it might be low. For me, who would have thought that you and I would start a podcast? In a million years, I wouldn't have thought that. In a million years, I never would have thought we had such a same thought process. I really thought we'd have some drama on this episode. I'm so disappointed about that again. But I just to think that because we grew up like separately, we didn't grow as friends. We grew as separate individuals, and when we came together, we were in that position where we resonated, we understood each other, we had a lot of things in common, we had the same thought process, outlook on a lot of different things. We may not be the same in the next 6 years. You may have a different thought process, I might have a different thought process, we might have a lot of disagreements, which might cause us to break. We don't really know that. But to realize that it's got nothing to do personally with you or that other person, and it has to do with energies and how you are and where you are. Now, right now, I only attract people that are about bettering themselves, and it's not in a very toxic way. I think a lot of people think that when you think about I want to be better and self help book, reading self help books, they think that, oh, you're always trying to be better. Like, come on, be happy with who you are. I'm like, no, I want to show up better to other people. I want to be a better person to others. I want to be a better person to myself. I don't want to show up in friendships blaming other people. I don't want to show up in friendships being jealous of someone. I don't want to do that. I want to be happy for you. I want to learn how to be happy for you. If you don't really know how to be happy for someone, learn. Don't just say that I'm a jealous person. I just don't know how to be happy. Everyone around me is always happy. I'm not happy. Stop complaining. Just stop. Start telling yourself, I'm so happy that my friends are happy. I'm going to learn how to be happy from them. People are always more than willing to teach you what they're doing, but ask it in the right way. Don't. I've had friends who've called me and said that, oh, you have a job. What's wrong with that? You have a job, like you're settled in life. Like, I have other worries. Getting a job is not my top priority. It may be for you, but if you, instead of attacking me, if you ask me like, hey, how did you get a job? Like, I want to get a job too. Like, can you tell me how you did that so I can follow in your footsteps? And I'd be more than happy to tell you what I did. But attacking is not going to work out, because all I see is your insecurities, all I see is your problems, and all I see is you don't want me to be better. And I think as friends, we should always want our friends to be better. And I think that's the problem, right? Like, we do want people to be better, but we don't want them to be better than us. And I think when you think like that, the moment you start thinking like that, catch yourself, take yourself back, take a step back and think, why did I just think that? Why did I think that she shouldn't be better than me? Why did I think that he shouldn't be better than me? The moment you think about that, you will know that there is something inside of you that you want, you didn't even know. Like, oh, so even I want that lifestyle. I just didn't know that I wanted it. So I'm jealous of this person. Like, it's all about thoughts. Thought becomes things, right? So think about it. Just sit down, write it on a piece of paper. Think about what you're thinking. Why am I thinking this? What can I do better? What am I grateful for? What do I already have? Like, we talked about it, I think, in the last episode too, about jealousy. Like, if you can switch your entire life into becoming that person, then be jealous of them. If not, just don't. You have your own stuff that you have to focus on. Manifest the life that you want. Think about, how can I be whatever he or she is, and not in a negative way, not in a way where, because I swear to God, when you think about negative stuff, comparing yourself to others and thinking she has it better than me, you're not going to get it. I swear you're not going to get it, because inflicting negative emotions on someone else, it's like a boomerang effect. It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you regardless of the time. It will come back to you. That's why they say karma, right? Whatever you give, it comes out. And just be mindful. It's not possible for you to be 24/7 positive, happy, sunshine, but be mindful. Whenever you find yourself, if you can recognize that, if you can acknowledge that, bring yourself back to the position where, like, I cannot do this. I don't want to be this person. It's not a one day task. It takes a lifetime for you to master that, and being mindful of that will help you.
Yeah, I so resonated with the fact that, cutting people off is necessary when you want to up level your life. So for me, it's so true. Like, I've cut so many people off from my life that, in some form or the other, I just felt like it had to be done, right? And I didn't, it's very important for you to surround yourselves with people who have the same mindset about everything. You shouldn't have a limiting mindset for anything in life. And it's very difficult. Mind you, I was that person who thought that, oh my God, I cannot make so much money. Oh my God, I cannot start my own business. Oh my God, I cannot do this. I was that person. And it's okay to be that person. But once you realize that you're that person, you have to do something to change it up. Because if you want to grow or if you want to up level in life, it's high time that you kind of change your mindset into a growth mindset. Excuse me. Mic drop. So now all I do is surround myself with people who have that kind of a mindset or who want to change themselves for the better, who are aware of what they're doing, right? And I'm so glad that I did cut some people off. Like you said, it's not that dramatic. It's not like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I still do support them. I still am in touch with them, just not as much as before, right? And I
Yeah.
am very happy with where I am right now. And it's about, I think there's this saying that if you're the smartest in any room, then you're in the wrong room. And oh my God, it is so true. Put yourselves in a room where you're the least smartest. and the learning that you get would be immense. Like, I have learned so much from people around me. They're all smarter than me. They all have their own businesses, right? They're all entrepreneurs, and I love being with them because I learn everything from them. Every day, something new I learn from them. And I'm so glad that I'm part of their friend group. Yeah, so put yourselves in
Yeah.
a room or surround yourselves with people who are
Mhm.
way smarter than you and who are doing
Mhm.
so many more things than you are. So
Yeah.
you obviously every day will be something new to learn for you.
I also think like when you're talking about put yourself around people, the right people, surround yourself with the right people. I don't take advice. I don't take feedback from just anyone unless I know that they know me, unless I know that they have good intentions for me. I will not do that. Like I have certain people that I go to for friendship problems. That I go to certain people for my podcasting problems. Sometimes I go to people for my relationship problems, like friendship problems, whatever. I think you have to like train yourself into understanding who you are and who you think is going to want best for you, and recognizing that takes time, because I've learned in the last couple of years like not everybody is your friend, not everybody wants good things for you, and most of the times people are talking from their experience. Whatever we are talking on this podcast, it's just our experience. We're not experts, we're just saying what we've experienced. And that's what friends do too. Like when, let's say that you have a problem and you're talking to me, I'm only going to give you a piece of advice from my experience. I wouldn't know the other perspective. But if you have another friend that can give you that perspective, which will actually help you, you have to take that friend's advice. So I think understanding who do I go to, because I think all of the multimillionaires, they have people for each sectors of their lives. They call them mentors, but we can have mentors or friends. Doesn't It'll be great to have mentors, but if you cannot, I think it's important to surround yourself with people that cater to that part of your life. I have friends that are entrepreneurs too, so they I only go to them when I have an idea and I don't know what to do about it, and they come to me when they have an idea and they don't know what to do about it, and we brainstorm, and the dopamine you get from that is just different. It's not like talking to a friend about the Kardashians. It just hits different. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about Kardashians. You can do it. You can gossip. You can have fun. It's fine. It's not like a big thing. But I think it's about choosing where you spend your time and where you spend your energy and who you spend it with. It is it just impacts you so differently. I also want to like talk about building a routine, because it's not like a one-off process. You have to be mindful of that every single day. I usually wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. Not everybody has to do this. I do it because I'm crazy. Sorry, I'm not crazy. Why did I call myself crazy? Man, don't identify yourself as a crazy person. I am just a morning person. I like waking up in the morning. And what I do is immediately after I get up, I write in my journal, like, hey, this is what three things I'm grateful for. We all have that gratitude journal you get on Amazon. The gratitude journaling, three things I'm grateful for, three positive affirmations. What do I want to do today? Those things set the tone for my entire day. And I cannot tell you the amount of times I've found myself being grateful for the same things over and over again. I'm like, I'm so grateful I have parents. Like, cool. You've written that like 20 times now. What's next? And then you start finding things to be grateful for. Because when you're talking about gratitude, the five top 10 or 15 things that pops into your head, it disappears after you start doing that for a while. And then you start finding the deeper meaning, the deeper things you should be grateful for in life, like little things, like you said, we have internet, we have a bed. Like I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have a bed, because I didn't have a bed in Boston. Like I cannot tell you the little things you don't realize when you have them, and when you lose out, when you miss out on them, and then you start realizing like, I'm so grateful I had friends in Boston. I used to like not go out anywhere, and they used to pester me. They used to like, they had to like drag me out of the house to go out. I'm so grateful they did that, because I wouldn't have had the experience that I did if I didn't do that, if they didn't do that for me. So it's about being grateful for little things and finding the light in the darker moments, to be a little poetic there, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I think the reason why Anusha was talking about gratitude is because that's one of the main things uh, for manifestation, right? You need to be grateful for what you have in order to get what you want. So that's exactly why she was talking about that, if you were wondering why. And oh my God,
This is
can
truly
Chennai
a
people stop
chaotic
already?
This is truly a chaotic episode, and I'm loving it.
I was just going to talk about self-limiting beliefs, and they just went on for so long. They were so quiet. Oh my God. It's very important, and I want to finish talking about it. Initially, when I said you have to work against the resistance that you feel when you think about what you want, I think you'll get a better understanding of what your beliefs are when you write things down. So, suppose you want to manifest a million. Why am I saying million? Let's say a crore or whatever. Okay, I don't want to say a million US dollars, but I should say million US dollars because it's higher than a crore. So anyway, let's say you want like $1 million, or you want the dream job or whatever, and just write down what comes up when you think of $1 million. What comes up? So for me, I think it's impossible to make $1 million. I used to think, at least. So I wrote down, I feel a little uncomfortable. I think it's very out of reach. I think it's unrealistic. I think it needs about 10 years for you to make that type of money. So write that down so you understand what your beliefs are around what you want. Okay. Let's say, even for example, let's say you want to buy a dream house. I'm just quoting examples of myself here. I don't know for what reason. Okay, for me, I want to buy like a villa by the beach. Okay. So I wrote it down, and yeah, and I thought of what is coming up, right? The resistance towards that belief. Okay, it's super unrealistic to get a house at 25, that big a house. Yes. That's what is normalized, right? So I wrote that down, and I wrote that I might not get the house that I like. I might get a smaller house, or it might not be by the beach. Things like that. I wrote down the limiting beliefs that I feel. It might take 15 or 20 years for me to afford that kind of a house, or things like that. So when you write that down, you understand what views you have around that belief, or what beliefs you have around that thing that you want. And eventually, one by one, you start working on breaking those beliefs, right? Those are all limiting beliefs, and it's not necessarily true. Okay, let's say I win a lottery, and I next day I'll go buy a house. It's a matter of a second, even, right? So it can happen, and we have to encourage that possibility of it happening and work against each one of those beliefs. So you say you need 10 years for you to make $1 million. Say no, I can even make $1 million if I invest in something, or in the stock market or something like that. Just be open to the possibility of it happening anytime now, so that it can happen anytime now. And even, let's say you want to apply for a job, you want to get your dream job. You're so closed off to the fact that only if I go into LinkedIn, only if I go to that careers page of that company and apply, submit my resume, are you going to get that job? No. you know Someone might, let's just go out to dinner the next day, you meet someone, some C-level executive of a company, and they say, hey, we're hiring for this position, or something like that. Just be open to unrealistic possibilities like that for it to come into your life. So I think that is one of the biggest challenges for all of us, because we're so limited to things like this. You have to go and apply, only then you'll get that job. You have to have 10 years, then only you'll get that $1 million. You have to be 40 years, then only you'll be able to afford that house. Things like that. We need to have a delusional kind of confidence, in all of the possibilities of it happening right now, for it to happen eventually. Might not necessarily happen tomorrow, right? But you should be open to the fact that it might happen.
So if this was like too overwhelming, because I know that we talked for over 50, 60 minutes, if this is too overwhelming, we do want to share a couple of different things that we've tried and it has worked for us. And you can sort of take bits and pieces, or you can just implement the same routine that we have, which is completely fine. For me, I'll start off by saying what I do on December 31st. Even before December 31st, I think the first episode we talked about was goals before the year ends. I like to do that every single year because I don't believe in waiting for January 1st for things to start unraveling. What I typically start doing is write things down, which I think I'm going to be the person for the next year. It's like I put on a persona mask. I'm like, this is the person I'm going to be next year. And I start listing down the qualities and attributes that this person would have. And I start doing that on December 1st and instead of January 1st, because that's like a trial run for me. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can stick to this. And because by the time people start asking about what are your new resolutions, I'm like, oh, I know them because I've started doing them already. And it feels, you get that confidence and you be like, I am that person because I've done that for 30 days already. I know I'm going to be that person. And it's just easier for me to stick to it because I've already identified myself as that person. And the second thing is for me to do a vision board. Obviously, I print stuff out. I take pictures from Pinterest and I print them out. As you can see, that's just who I am. I like having visual stuff wherever I walk or on my mirror or wherever, whichever feels right to you. Second thing I do is I have a book for each year which resonates around becoming the best version of yourself. So last year I picked up 101 essays that change the way you think, and it has been my Bible for last year. Like entire year, I went back to that book every time I felt something about myself, and I pick up books like that every single year. And of course, like journaling, it's my key. It's my primary key. It's just what I use. It's just my reference point. I go back to that all the time. Journaling has just made my life 100% better. Four things that I do. And fifth thing is definitely workout. I know it's got nothing to do with manifestation, but the mental clarity you get when you have dopamine in your body, when you start working out, it just hits different. And it's like unlocking a part of your brain, which helps you manifest it more quickly. What about you, Likita? What's your routine like?
Yeah, so actually, I do not have a set routine, but that's how I started off, right? I mean, when you're new to something, it's best for you to have a fixed routine that's very easy and realistic, so that as you go on, it becomes second nature, which is what happened with me. So initially, when I started off, like you said, I had a gratitude journal, right? I would list down 10 things that I'm grateful for every single day. Very difficult at first, but it got so easy with time. Like I would say things like, I'm very grateful for my knees for help me walk and all because of my knee issue. But I would say small things like that. And it really elevates your day, right? When you start writing things you're grateful for, you see there's so much to be happy about. So that's one thing I started with. And obviously the second one was writing down things that I wanted as though they already happened, right? I would have written, I already own this house. I already own this beach villa or something. It hasn't happened yet. This is going to be recorded. I know it's going to happen so soon. So I've written things that I wanted as though they already happened, and a little bit of description, right? It's not just that I own this house or I own this job, I own this business or something. So it's a little, you need to be a little bit more descriptive so that it's a bit more believable, right? You need to dig into the specifics. If you want to own a business, be specific about what business is it, how many clients do you have, right? How much revenue is it making? What turnover is it? So things like that, you need to be a little bit more specific. So I think that is really important because you like going into specifics, right? So especially if you want to buy a house or something. I like writing. It has a huge ass yard. It has so many bedrooms. It has this gym area, things like that, and it makes me happy. It almost makes me. It's believable, right? Once you start writing specifics about things that you want. So that's one of the biggest things that I did. And third one is the most important thing is to meditate. Oh my God. It is so difficult. Like my mind, I think I'm one of the most restless person ever. Like I've
Do
never seen
not,
someone as restless as me.
do not identify as yourself as a restless person. Come on, Nikita.
Okay, but okay, I was. Anyway,
Yes.
so I couldn't just sit in a place for 3 minutes. I just couldn't. And even if I did, my mind was jumping through hundreds of things, saying, oh my God, am I sitting okay? My hands hurt, my back hurts, things like that. I'm like, just shut up, like it. So it was so difficult for me. But once I got the hang of it, right, it's just a matter of biting your teeth, sitting and doing it. Because there's a reason why people say meditation is really helpful. Not just as a, in a manifestation aspect, but in general. So I think this app called Headspace really helped me. So I paid premium for it, and I purchased a subscription for a year, and it is so helpful. Like there are a lot of guided meditations, and I just did for 10 minutes every day, which was really challenging and difficult for me. But when I did it, I could see the changes like this. I was more aware of my emotions and feelings. trying to find the root cause of it. Things like that, a lot of introspection, a lot of slowness and calmness came out of doing that 10 minutes of meditation every single day. Like, I think once you do it for 30 days, you'll reap the benefits of it if you're someone who finds it difficult to sit in a place and close your eyes and be still. I used to be that person. Now I'm a little better. Like, I can do 10, 15 minutes of, thinking of one thought or just seeing thoughts arise and letting them go. So I think that was one of the key things that really helped me slow down in life. And I think these three things are something that I followed in initially, and then came affirmations and SATs and everything. That is a little bit more technical, but for people who are just starting out, I think if you pick up one or two things from what Anusha and I said and just try doing it for like a few days and see how it helps you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to talk about another thing. I'm going to take like 2 minutes of your time, guys. Okay, we forgot to touch on this, which is reticular activating system. It's a part of your brain which is filtering stuff. So we have like a million things happening at once, and your brain's constantly, that your brain notices everything around you. But
The reason why you don't pick up on everything consciously is because your reticular activating system,
which acts like a tea filter, coffee filter, it's like filtering stuff, and it's like, okay, these are the 5 most important tasks that we're going to focus on right now, and that's what your brain does. I can see the sun now, but I didn't notice it happening. I can see it now because I'm focusing on it, because I'm like, wait, why is my face bright? And then I looked up and it's like, okay, the sunrise happened. Good. But it was happening. My brain did know that, but it filtered because it's not important to the conversation that I'm having now. So whenever you think about things, your brain starts picking up on those things. So let's say that you want to meet the biggest CEO in the world, whoever you think it is. You'll start seeing things that guide you to that place. I swear, and I don't mean this in a stalkerish way. Like, don't say you want to be Justin Bieber and then like go around. Not that concept. We're not talking about that here. I'm talking about like setting an intention. It really, your RAS really helps you understand what is right, what is wrong, and it filters those information. It's like when you buy a new car, you see that car everywhere. That's because your reticular activating system is thinking about the new car. So you see that car everywhere. You wouldn't have seen that car. You wouldn't have noticed that car before you bought it unless it was on your goal list or something. That is what RAS does. And I want you to keep that in mind the next time you set an intention. Thoughts become things. So be very careful about what you're thinking.
That's the whole idea of positive thinking and saying positive things. Because once you start focusing on the good, you see it everywhere around you. I think it's very normal, right? People say that you focus on the good grows. So again, not asking you to
it grows.
Yeah, again, not asking you to go tell a sad person, someone who's very low, saying that, hey, cheer up, they have so much to be grateful for. No, we already told you what to do, but otherwise, yeah, just focus on the good. What you give out into the universe is what you get. So say things like, I'm a millionaire. Never say you're broke.
And work for it. Yeah.
No, I think I'm delusional. I'll get $1 million. I don't have to struggle and all.
You won't have to struggle. I do think that action is required though. Like just doing something. Like you cannot just sit in your sofa and say, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. Like it doesn't happen. You have to put a little bit
See,
of
this is the drama. This is the drama.
Yes.
I disagree. I think I can simply sit and get $1 million. I think I'm capable of that. I mean, the proof may not come right now, but I think just in a few months or few years, I'll show you that you can sit still and get $1 million.
Nikita, come on, quit your job, start doing this podcast, don't do anything.
Oopsie. No.
Drama. Guys, let us know. Like, what do you think? Like, we want to know which side are you gonna pick? We want to know. Just tell us. And
yeah, because we are made to believe that you have to struggle. Oh my God, you know how much I struggled in life to make $100,000 or 1 lakh rupees.
No.
I struggle so much. It's a belief, common belief that all of us have, that you have to struggle a certain amount in your life to get good things. But no, I don't believe that.
I think smart work is required, not hard work. You don't have to work hard. I think, when you are really interested in something, you sort of like become obsessed and start working on it. And it feels like it's hard work, but it's really just not. You just like the process of it. I found myself doing that, like with our podcast and my podcast. Like I'm obsessed with that process. It feels like hard work to other people. Like who will get up at 6 a.m. to record a podcast? Like people would think I'm crazy, but I like doing it. Like it's not something I think it's hard. I like it. So I like to think of it as smart work. I like doing it. I can get it done. I can be done before 10 a.m. and I have the rest of the Sunday to myself. That's how I think about it. But I think it's about balancing being a very delulu and being a little bit realistic. And we'll hear from our audience, like, what do you think?
I am fully delusional. I'm already imagining my parents and my brother listening to this, saying that I'll simply sit and get $1 million. They're like, "Oh my God, this girl is crazy. She has no idea what she's talking about." Because they obviously believe that I have to struggle to get earn so much money. But if you're listening to this, no, watch me make it.
Stop doing this podcast.
But
Just
I
kidding.
think with that,
We're ending the long ass episode. Look,
we knew this was going to be long.
yeah, this was requested. Like we both have so much to talk about it. We knew this was going to be this way, so we hope you guys
Highly
enjoyed
requested
it.
too.
Yeah, we really hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, and also, side note is that this is our experience and we found it to be true. So we're just sharing it with you guys and let us know what you think, or if you've tried these things before, if you were aware of, all the principles and things like that, share with us and let us know.
Yeah, we have our feedback form. We have our comment section open. We also have an NGL link. I'm not sure. Is it not gonna lie link? I don't know. But it's an anonymous
Yeah.
feedback form. You can send us any messages you want, or you can DM us on Instagram. Leave us a rating and review, and follow us on YouTube because we are on YouTube now. So follow us there, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. I don't know how to say it because I've never done YouTube before, but we really
Same.
hope you like this. I know. Really hope you
Yeah,
like
we
it.
really hope. Yeah. Please let us know. We would love some feedback. Like Anusha said, rate us and follow us. And if you didn't know, we were rated number 55 in India under what was the group?
Self-improvement
Self
category.
improvement category. And we had just had 3 episodes out at that time when this stat came. And we were so happy. And we want to work a lot towards this.
Yeah, if you didn't see our reel on Instagram, go follow us on Instagram. What are you doing here? Go and follow us. Come on. We post like behind the scenes there. So go follow. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. See ya.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening. We're so grateful. And bye.
Bye.
Mwah. That was the longest kiss ever. But yes.
Yeah. Bye.